Howdy folks. Today is going to be kind of a meandering talk about Irish whiskey and American Northwest whiskey, I guess, and gin and grappa and all kinds of stuff. So this is my collection of Irish whiskey. I know it's not a huge collection, only 3 bottles, but I don't generally keep a lot of Irish around because it doesn't get called for a lot in like classic cocktails, and I mostly drink cocktails. It's pretty good for sipping, but I go more towards more boldly flavored things like scotch, rum, or mezcal. So I don't usually keep a lot around, but for various different reasons, I happen to have 3 Irish whiskeys. So I thought I would just chat about Irish whiskey for a minute. Irish is usually like an easy drinking kind of whiskey. Something that if you were new to whiskey, you might start with Irish. It's just something if you don't want a challenging drink, you just want to have something nice to sip on. That's Irish. My favorite Irish is Green Spot. And I thought, if I like Green Spot, maybe I should try the Yellow Spot. It's 12 years old. Should be pretty good. I actually find that I enjoy the Green Spot more than the Yellow, even though the Yellow is, more expensive. Green Spot it's got like a banana flavor. It's hard to describe, but it's really very good. My other favorite is Redbreast 12. They also make a cask strength Redbreast, which is really amazing. Interestingly, those are both made by Jameson. If you're going to start somewhere, Jameson is a pretty good place to start. They make some of the best Irish whiskeys around. So now the other main Irish whiskey, for a while there were only 2 Irish whiskey distilleries left, is Bushmills. People don't talk about Bushmills anymore. Might be time to check out Bushmills. Maybe it's good. I don't know. I haven't drank it for a long time, since I was a lad. So the other Irish I happen to have right now is this Writer's Tears. It's a blended Irish. They have a few different labels in their line, but this is the Copper Pot one. It's a blend of malted and unmalted barley from various distilleries blended together. It's not very expensive. It's pretty good. If you're looking for an Irish whiskey just to have around, it's not bad. It doesn't break the bank. My third Irish whiskey I've mentioned before on the channel is this Connemara. Now it's unusual because it's peated. Normally you think of peated whiskey as coming from Scotland, but there's no rules about it. The Irish here are doing it. Connemara single malt. So this is all malted barley, peated malted barley. Anyway, this stuff is amazing. It's not super heavily peated like some of the scotches are, but it's just really good. If you want to spend a little more money and get something really interesting, get this. Anyway, that is not what I was going to talk about. The thing I'm actually going to talk about is this bottle. This is Ransom The Emerald. Okay, it is from Ransom Spirits in Sheridan, Oregon, not too far from me. And it is not an Irish whiskey, but it is an historical Irish style. Before we get into that, let me just tell you a little bit about Ransom Spirits, because they're pretty good. Ransom makes wine. They also make vermouth. I entered their cocktail competition. I did not win. They make some pretty good gins. Their Ransom Dry Gin is pretty good. They use a lot of botanicals from around the Northwest, including hops. It's really like boldly flavored. The Ransom spirits that you find are not shy about the flavors. They also make a couple of bourbons and a rye barley wheat whiskey, which is pretty good. Check it out. See if you can find it. It's worth getting. The other notable one is their grappa. They make a Gewürztraminer grappa. I was into grappa for a while, and this stuff is really good. If you can find it and you are interested in grappa, Ransom Gewürztraminer grappa. Yes, sir. Now, the other bottle, the bottle you may have seen or heard about, is their Old Tom Gin. They partnered up with David Wondrich, who is a sort of semi-famous cocktail historian. guess sort of the only cocktail historian, really. Apparently, he knew Tad Seastedt, who was the owner and founder of Ransom. I think they went to high school or college together or something. And they got together, and David Wondrich suggested that he should make Old Tom Gin because at the time, back in the early 2000s, there weren't any Old Tom Gins on the market, really. And it really became very popular with bartenders during the sort of, cocktail renaissance as your go-to Old Tom Gin. So that's one you might have seen around, and that's also worth drinking. But speaking of David Wondrich, he, as a cocktail historian, he digs around in old tax records and whatnot, and he came across an Irish whiskey mash bill from 1865, I believe, that described the mash bill as malted and unmalted barley, rye, and oats. Now, this is a little unusual for a few different reasons. First of all, the Irish whiskey, like the ones I showed you before, are typically malted and unmalted barley, and that's it. But you don't really ever see rye in the mix of an Irish whiskey, so that's pretty strange, and, not how they do it anymore. The other strange thing is that there's oats in it. Like, almost no whiskey anywhere has oats in it that I'm aware of. I know that they make whiskey out of all kinds of different things these days. Oats you don't see too often. Here, let's give it a quick taste. So it's sort of, pretty dark, sort of darkish in color. They age it for 3 years, I think I read, in American and French oak. It's got you can really smell the rye on the nose, I think. It's really complex, peppery. It's a little hot, but you get that, you can really taste the rye in it, I feel like. And also the oats. Sounds strange, but it's got sort of a very cereal quality, like like oatmeal in the morning maybe, or like a breakfast cereal. It's really strange. And yeah, kind of peppery, savory. It's not really sweet, savory. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't taste like other whiskeys I've had. It doesn't really taste like Scotch exactly, but a little bit. It's like between a Scotch and an Irish, but with a rye mixed in. I don't know. It's pretty good. It's really enjoyable to sip and try and puzzle out what's in there. Anyway, so what do you do with it? Well, really, you just sip it. Sipping is probably the best. But, this is a cocktail channel, so let's go ahead and just make an old-fashioned with it. Now, when I make a old-fashioned, something that's got a lot of rye in it, or even just some rye, like a rye-forward taste, I like to use a lemon instead of an orange peel. And I put little Peychaud's in, because that's nice. Peychaud's and Angostura in a rye old-fashioned, yeah. I mean, that's an old-fashioned, it's a no-brainer. Old-fashions are great. Just a little bit sweet. You still got a lot of that oaty sort of barley cereal qualities in it. They really come through really well. And that's excellent. Hey, thanks for watching. What's your favorite Irish whiskey? Let me know down in the comments, and we'll see you next time.